Hey guys, it's Nemo and welcome back to World of Warships. Today's video is of the USS Worcester. Now this ship has been requested many times for me to do, review, play, whatever. But I've been putting it off. And the reason I've been putting it off is because the Worcester has been slapped with the Nerf bat so much that her entire gameplay has changed. Now, she used to have 9.9 kilometer radar with a 9.5 kilometer detection. So she used to be able to come forward to the cap, stealth radar, kill an enemy destroyer, and then run off. So people didn't like that, so Wargaming took it away and nerfed the radar to 9 kilometers. So now she has to play a totally different style of play. Then, after that, the CV rework, as we know, has come out and her AA has totally changed. The most potent AA cruiser in the game is now, probably not, I'd say Worcester's second now to Minotaur. Minotaur in smoke is just absolute machine. Anyway, that's why I've been putting off this gameplay, this ship. Now this ship was in my top 5 favourite ships in the entire game, and in no particular order. For those interested, they are the Des Moines, the Worcester, the King George V, the Kidd, and the Atlanta. Now, the Atlanta, if you like that ship and can play her well, you're going to love the Worcester. Same sort of floaty guns, although the Worcester has a lot more range, and the Worcester can play open water, which is what I'm about to do here. The Worcester can open water, whereas you do that in the Atlanta, you're probably not going to last too long. The 152mm guns on the Worcester are absolutely amazing. They fire every 4 seconds, I believe, with the reload module, and then you add IFHE and you can just rock things. Now, what a lot of people have trouble with in the Worcester is this. See the float there? Very floaty guns. And that's why if you can play the Atlanta well, you're probably going to be able to play the Worcester well. But the Atlanta can't do this. The Atlanta can't just open water gunboat. So I go forward slowly, and it's become a little bit like this. We're pretty lucky this was an early morning game, and we only had one CV aside. At the moment, you're getting 2 or 3, especially in Tier 10, and it's a bit difficult to play. But it's not impossible. I mean, the game after I finished making this video, I played in Tier 10 and I had 52 plane kills with this Worcester, with the current build as it is. But the way the CVs, because there's so many CVs at the moment, it's not the fact that CVs are relatively strong. I mean, yes, they can't be deplaned, but you're seeing so many of them. You're seeing 2, 3 in a battle on each side, and that's because everyone's just playing. The same thing happened when the Haragumo and the Japanese gunboat line came out. Everyone was all of a sudden a Haragumo captain, and there was HE everywhere. It was the same with the British battleships when they were released. HE everywhere. So everyone went away from their AA builds and went to HE. But now everybody is so scared that of CVs, because they're so prevalent, that everyone is just taking this time to go to a free respec and build total anti-air ships. In my opinion, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because once this hype dies down, they're not going to give you a free respec once the hype's died down, so you're going to have to wait till either a free respec or cheaper doubloons so you can respec your ship. So keep going with those hybrid builds is my advice. Anyway, the other thing that got slapped with the nerf on the Worcester, and it was pretty much it's universal nerf, was the concealment. So now she has a concealment of 9.8. Now I think that if you're going to have a 9.8 concealment now, give her back her 9.9 radar. She's still 100 meters is not stealth radaring. That's not stealth radar. So I'm sailing around here in the open. Now you've got to be careful when you open water because, as you can see, I'm detected and I'm being fired upon by quite a number of ships, and I am broadside. Really risky move. I'm trying to bait out as much fire as I can, and it's just it's dangerous. If you can get away with it, do it. So I keep kiting away. I can see that there's an Alabama over there and I want to get some shots on him, but I also know that Isamo is there as well, and I just hold this line a little bit too long, and as you can see I'm broadside here. Now in hindsight, what I should have done was actually turned south instead of north, and then turned the guns the other way. So I'm moving forward. I still am detected. Now I'm not detected anymore because my bloom has gone down for my guns, which is really good. And I can see there's the Alabama there. So the Shima's not far away because I'm spotted again. But my radar is down because I used it before to see if he was deep in the cap, and unfortunately for me, he wasn't deep in the cap. Now I keep getting hit and pummeled, but no one's going to push up. No one's pushing up for two reasons. One is there's only one DD in the game, and he's in B, and he's been sitting there for quite a while. I don't know what he's up to at the moment. And so there's no one else spotting. The CV's doing what he can to spot, and for CV players, try to remember that spotting is still an effective tool that you have. Sometimes a CV will come in and spot a ship, and then I'll be firing at it, or someone else will be firing them, 2 or 3 teammates, and then all of a sudden the CV just retreats his planes and you can't see anymore. So CVs have sort of got to remember that you still are a really effective spotting weapon. Now here's the part where I'm actually a bit too broadside. As you can see, I'm targeted there. I'm looking at the Isamo while I'm firing over at the Alabama, and I get smacked. Yep, that was my mistake, and I'm happy to wear that mistake. As I said, the best thing to do there would have been turn south and fire like what I'm doing now, instead of going broadside. So silly error there. Try not to do that in the game. Otherwise, I was lucky that Isamo didn't get any more than the one citadel on me. So we kite away. Now this is the really good part about the Worcester. You can do this open water gunboat, and if you can get these guns firing and landing, that's the hard part with the Worcester, is getting them to land. Giving that extra lead, trying to judge where the enemy ship is going to go. That's what makes the Worcester difficult to play. But a top open water Worcester, I've seen some great open water Worcesters, especially when they first came out. And it's the same thing. When they first came out, they were everywhere. Worcester was everywhere, and then everyone cried and thought that the game was over. And it's silly when you think that the game is going to be over and that you're going to uninstall your game because of a meta change. And that's why we're here on this channel. This channel here is to not whinge and complain, but to beat the game as it is, whatever meta we are in. How can we be effective? So one thing that is really good with this game, as you can see, there's that big grey circle in the middle of the minimap. That's the thunderstorm mechanic. Now, I love the thunderstorm mechanic, especially playing cruisers and destroyers. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's also really helpful if you know how to take advantage of it. Your detection goes down, enemy detection goes down, visibility just goes down. It's great. If you know how to use it, it's really, really good. So I'm going to start pushing up now. Maybe I'm a little bit too far out of the battle, but I can see the Shima's torps there still going out. And it's time to get up there and screen these battleships. There's a Jean Bart there, there's a Yamato there, there's a Massachusetts. Now the Massachusetts looks like he's going to go down, but they're about to push the cap. And this sort of blob style play, which has been coming out in the last week because of the CVs, has made it a very passive game. You just got to be patient while the CVs are so prevalent, just be patient. Stick together, be patient. A really interesting perspective was given to me by a king in my clan, and he's a CV main. And he said the reason we're going for destroyers all the time is because we can't get through the AA in the early game while you're all blobbed. So anyway, I've come in, I've told my team that Hydro and radar is ready, and I'm detected, and it's 7.8 kilometers because of the thunderstorm. There's only one thing that can get that close, and the Shima, he obviously likes the thunderstorm mechanic as well, but it doesn't work out. You know, when you're in a Shima and you come within 7.8 kilometers of a Worcester that has a radar and its hydro going, it's not going to end too well. So lucky for me, I've put the hydro on to screen my team, and I can only see two. There's only two there, so I'm a bit worried that there might be another launch. So I don't turn right into the cap straight away. I'm just waiting, see what my hydro picks up, and my hydro is now on the edge of the smoke, so it would have surely picked up another lot of torpedoes by now. So unfortunately our Jean Bart eats one, and lucky though for the hydro, spotting it with the hydro, he was able to only eat the one. So we're going now, we're going to grab the cap. That's one thing that is delayed a lot with the blob tactic is the capping, but that's alright, we've got it now. And now I'm in a little bit of a pickle here in the game, because I was like, should I go north with these two fellas pushing through, or should I go south and try to cut off this Ibuki and whatever's going to push down through C? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go north. I'm going to escort these two guys. This Yamato has been in the chat, not absolutely spamming it with what he's doing, but he's been telling people, you know, what he's going to do, and he's been asking our CV, you know, if you take out the Shima, I can kill the rest, and that's true. You know, Yamato can kill anything. And so I decided, well, I'm going to stay with them, and we'll play as support there. Not only can I support them with my hydro and my radar, I can support them with my AA. So what we saw before was Worcester open water. Terrific open water ship. It is also one of the best island hugging ships in the game. That's US cruiser gameplay, especially Des Moines and Atlanta and Worcester. And we come up here and I can see that the Ibuki's in the cap. Now we have well over 200 points on the enemy, but you don't want the enemy to get your cap. So I'm coming around the corner, and because I know that the Tirpitz is there, but the Tirpitz is running, I want to try and keep my bow to him, because the Tirpitz has the 15-inch guns, which find it hard to overmatch 27mm of armor. So if I keep my bow to him, then I can focus on the Ibuki. Now the Ibuki makes a little bit of a mistake here, I reckon. He has come north in the cap instead of going south. He probably would have been better off going and finish off the Massachusetts. I get off some good shots. I pop the radar because I lose sight of him, and we get the defended ribbons, and then he's dead. Now that's one thing that you really need to be aware of as a radar cruiser. So many radar cruisers will not pop their radar unless they have line of sight. The radar is for your team as well, so if you're stuck behind an island and you can't see the enemy, but you can see on the minimap that your team is in a position to hit the enemy, pop the radar for them. Use the radar so that they can see what you can't and they can kill it. And then here, this is part of the island hugging gameplay. It's not as close as what you would hug on a Des Moines or something when you're there bow tanking. But you're able to sit at the island, lob shells over, and there's no way this would be happening in reality. Shots over here, over that island as well, to get the Conqueror, who's tightly tucked in on the other end. Now, that's the advantage of these floaty shells. If you do get stuck in an island area, or beside an island, or someone's behind an island, such as the Conqueror, you can go out and hit them. Now I've got just shy of 100,000 damage here at the moment, and all I can think is like, don't let the game finish too early. I want to go and get some. I want at least 8,000 more damage. So I'm still here hanging out with my battleships, escorting them. We have a 6.9 kilometer AA range now instead of 8.6, and it's still pretty good. 6.9 is still pretty good, it's still effective, whereas the Des Moines now has a 5.8, and so her AA is short burst, and it is effective, but it just doesn't seem like it does much. There are other ships that have had, ships that are supposed to be AA, like the Indianapolis and the Texas, who have just been slapped with that AA nerf bat. Now your anti-air defenses is actually quite good at tier 10. The AA that struggles is actually the lower tier AA. The higher tier AA, you can beat off the enemy carriers quite easily, and if there's only one enemy carrier in the team, you're going to have a field day. As I told you, the battle I played not long after this was 52 aircraft planes, and it was a double CV game. Just playing it right, playing it in the smoke. There was a gearing who was in front of me, and I was just there protecting him. So I come out broadside here. The only reason I've come out broadside here is because there's 3 points to win. And what I would have done is, as I have seen the Des Moines, I would have turned out and shown him my tail. So it wasn't a bad game at all. 11 fires, a dreadnought, quite a good chunk of experience, and 92,000 damage. I would have liked to get the 100,000, but just eluded me a little bit. We topped the team with the 2 kills and 1,888 base experience. Always good to finish first in a match. Means you've pulled your weight, and that's what you like. Even if I didn't crack the 100,000 damage, still did what I had to do, especially in killing that ship. You've got a radar cruiser. That's your target, is a destroyer. Anyway, let's have a look at our build. Now, we've run premium consumables as always. You want to always run them. Now, main armaments mod 1, so you can protect those guns. You have very little armor on your guns. Main auxiliary armaments mod 1 would also be viable at the moment if you're afraid to run with the CVs. Now, damage control party. Now, the reason I do the damage control system, is that propulsion and steering on a cruiser you don't really get knocked out that much. So aiming systems so we get some more accuracy on those guns. Again, if you're worried about the CVs, then AA modification 1 for a little bit of extra flak burst will be viable as well. Now, propulsion mod, the reason I take propulsion mod is because a lot of times you will be using the island or sitting still and needing to move quickly out in the open water. In saying that, as an open water cruiser, sometimes steering gears will also benefit you if that's the style you prefer to play. Concealed and expert, so we can get down to that 9.8. That you can be squishy if you're too broadside, but you can also be pretty trollish. And then main armaments, main battery modification 3 for that extra reload. Yeah, your turrets turn a little bit slow, but you've got 152mm guns that turn relatively quickly anyway. Get your guns down to about 4 seconds of firing, which is really good. And again, if you're worried about the AA as it is, or CVs as they are, AA guns mod 2 is also viable. So let's have a look at our Worcester captain. So this is the captain I found after tinkering around that I like best in the current meta. So first we're going to go priority target. As you saw, I knew how many were shooting at me, and it was a little bit scary at one stage with over 4 of them firing at me. We're going to go jack of all trades so we can get our consumables off more quicker. We're going to go superintendent so we get more consumables, the radar and the AA. Concealment to get that down. We want to be a nice stealthy ship. Then we're going to go with IFHE because of the 152mm guns. It adds the penetration up to 32mm, which is really good for punching through high tier battleship armor and also cruisers. Then we're going to go with the preventative maintenance, because we want to make sure that our guns stay intact and that we can also look after our AA guns in the current meta. So guys, that's my build and commentary of the Worcester. As I said, I absolutely love this ship. It's a joy to play, and if you can master the guns, it's really good to play. And again, as I said, don't worry about the current CV meta and everyone playing CVs. It's the new thing. It's the thing of the week. Maybe the month, maybe the next couple of months, because there'll be releases of Royal Navy CVs and balancing and updates. So don't worry about it. Don't let it ruin your game. We're here to enjoy the game and beat it in how it is. Anyway guys, thanks for joining me, and stay safe out there.